who are uncomfortable to speak in English.
Yo, how to confidence move amongst giants, how the lamb see the slaughter, avoid the wrath of a lion. Heretic and chosen to enlighten himself with science, but has the knowledge and wisdom to know when it's time to digress, express metaphysical traits of cognitive powers. Tempest nature of a creature familiar with timeless. When you see beyond the atoms and the molecules, know the carnivores, the ones whose lashes over.
Hello, Defcon. Nice to have you on. This is our first time. Actually, I've met you one time before, but this is our first time properly talking. So this is I don't know what number of the Eye to Eye series, and we're just going to ask you a few questions about yourself.
Sure. Also, very nice to see you both, and thank you for having me. Glad.
No worries. Yeah. So let's start with getting to the bottom of your name, Defcon Lawless. That's a heavy set of words. What does it mean to you, and what was your reasoning behind choosing that name?
You want to hear something hilarious? It was actually a joke from high school.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in high school, and I was always known as the goofy dude at the table. We used to have freestyle Fridays and that.
Yeah.
And when I was in school, Ocean's 11 or 12 came out.
Yeah.
And I go to the homies, and I'm just like, yo, man, what if we was all spies? And it's like, what would our names be, Aaron? You goofball. What would they be? So I tell my homie, I was like, your name would be Cornelius Sabotage. They start cracking up. So we're laughing about that. And then they said, Aaron, you're always hearing everybody else's names. What would your name be? I was like, I don't know, Defcon Lawless, right? Joke, right? It was a joke. So then I started, messing around with music. No, actually, before I started messing around with music, the gamer tags and shit came out. So that was my joke name. So my joke name on my gamer tag would be Defcon Lawless, all piss tape. And then when I started messing around with stuff, I was trying to figure out what it was. And then my lady was like, I don't know what I'm gonna call myself. But I used to go by Lackluster. And she was like, yo, that Defcon Lawless name sounds pretty heavy. I was like, nah, that's bullshit. That sounds complete. That sounds like complete, convoluted bullshit. Whatever.
Wait, did you release any music as Lackluster?
I had this track, early in the game, because I come from a background of a very musical family. So early in the game, all of us either spit, produce, or something. My brother Ace Caden is nasty. My cousins are all producers. He opened for the Roots back in the day in Philly. So
that's dope. That's dope.
So and my cousins were really heavy in the battle rap scene. So Reed Dollars, Quilly Mills, all these cats are coming in and out of my crib getting their videos edited. Anyways, actually, what the hell was the question? I'm over here drinking. What's the damn question again?
Reasoning behind your name, but I'm liking the sound of the story. Go ahead.
Too many. Yeah, but make a long story short, dude. I did release some stuff under Lackluster, but the funny thing is, it was during the LimeWire time. So.
Yeah.
I'm really into You've heard some of my music. I wouldn't call it. It's always going to be rooted in hip hop. The columns, the foundation of my music is hip hop and poetry.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
And then number 3 comes in the rock punk influence, which is very heavily from my mother's side. So what I did was, I'm obsessed with this band called At the Drive-In. They're a post-punk band from Texas. And I did a remix of one of my favorite songs of all time called One Armed Sister by them.
Yeah. But
it was a real heavy industrial 808 style song, but it got a lot of plays. But here's the thing. I didn't know to name myself on the damn on the song. So I had mad homies who had my song bro, what do you go by? It was super underground. So I had a little underground following in Maryland for a while.
Nice.
And I was never really one to push myself like that. I didn't really, I just like doing it and being in the basement like I am now. Doing my thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. You mentioned being out from Philly back in the day. So I'm just interested in what it was like growing up in Philly, how that's affected you and your music.
Yeah.
Because anyone who knows, Philly's got a rich history in hip hop, Beanie Siegel, the Roots, great artists.
Absolutely.
So, is that big with you? Do you think that affects you and how you make music?
100%. But let me clarify one thing, especially coming from where I'm from. I'm specifically from an area called Norristown, Pennsylvania, represent the 610, right?
Okay.
So Norristown is not Philadelphia in the city. It's outside the city. Right?
I see.
So for instance, if Beans or Black Thought, they know where Norristown is, but they'd be like, bro, you're not in the city, right? So let's clarify.
Word.
Because
Okay.
number one, I'm proud of where I'm from because I like being in that pocket of you know, kind of the bastard stepchild of New Jersey and Philly. I like that. That makes me comfortable. So yeah, but it's very important to kind of point that out because I obviously, as you know, with Jill Scott, Beans, God, even Will, and my favorite MC of all time, like I said, Black Thoughts, my favorite MC of all time, like pound for pound. Major influences on me. However, the beauty of not being from the middle of Philadelphia is I had that suburban influence as well. So I'd be on my way to the city to go to the TLA, the Theater of Living Arts in Philly, but I might go see a hip hop show, but listen to Metallica on the way there. You understand? Or
I feel that.
Or we might be skating with me and my homies from the suburbs, but we're all bumping Wu-Tang and Clips. So it was a very amalgamated influence. Henceforth, why everything that I do is very amalgamated. So it was a great place to grow up. Not only that, but to mention, shout out to my uncle Disco Pete, rest in peace. He really got me into it. He was a DJ Disco Pete, and my uncle Easy Mike. And they had me on the turntables when I was a kid, so I was always surrounded by it. My grandmother played piano in our church. I was in choir, like everything was around, but I didn't really understand what it was going to turn into. It just kind of naturally happened. So that being from that area where it was, I'd call my area a very polarizing place. So it was either, like you might walk down one block and be like, Aaron, this is completely fine. And then somebody might have got clipped like 2 nights before right down the street. You never really knew what happened. It was a very, you know, like you had to stay on your toes. Like it could be completely cool, but you had to know how to move. And luckily for me, shout out to the homies on the block. They always looked out for me, and they kind of knew I was a bit different. So people kind of gave me that leeway that a lot of people might not have gotten in my area. So shout out to all the homies looking out for me, and the village for making sure I stayed on the right path, because I could have went down another path, but I don't think they would have let me. You know what I mean? So it really influenced my music. Henceforth, why I can really connect to the battle rap side of things, but also be very insightful when it comes. Not to say that battle rap and being insightful are mutually exclusive, but what I'm saying is I'm able to I like to put nerd bars with battle rap delivery, and then put a bit of rock melody on it. I like to kind of mix it all up because of the area in which I grew up in, and that's why there's this lawless sound that it is.
Nice. Speaking of Lawless sound, I see that you're like the founder of the Lawless Collective, and I'm just interested in hearing what like you're trying to do with that and what you're trying to represent with that, basically.
So I'm really glad you asked that, man, because basically that was, at the moment, it's kind of a placeholder, but I'm always looking towards the future and always looking to collaborate with like-minded individuals. So for instance, whenever I play gigs, shout out to the people who've all booked me. You know, the people in Southampton, it's been great. They've been cool and asked me what type of acts I'd like to support. And I very much, again, it's all about amalgamation. It's all about inclusivity and making sure that everybody has a great experience. So the Lawless Collective is about all inclusivity of creatives of all backgrounds and all of us helping each other, scratching each other's back. So if I play a gig, I don't want to have a whole gig of nothing but hip hop acts or nothing but rock acts. I want there to be, at one point, shout out to my man Forbes from Southampton.
We had him on yesterday.
Oh, tight. There you go.
Yeah.
So he's supported, but then I've had cats like Happy 2000, great band.
Punk band.
Yeah, man. Arid Wave, amazing bands. I kind of want to bring that same Philly flavor that I had at this punk bar called the Kyber over here. And I also want to be able to make sure that everybody's getting represented. But as of right now, I'm just building the foundation. So I'm like, all right, keep it as a placeholder. But I got my eyes on a couple people that I'm just like, yo, let's get this shit popping when it gets going. So I'm really excited about it. Not to mention, I'm probably going to have some apparel come out. I'd like to have some skateboard decks. Shit, a motherfucker might fuck around. I don't know. Come out with a bottle opener. Depends on what you like doing.
Nice.
So yeah, man.
Whenabouts did you kind of make the move from Philadelphia to England, and when did you decide on like settling down in Southampton? And like what?
Yeah, well, I met my lady in the States, and 2010 maybe, and then you know out here. To be quite honest, you know, we had a little dude, and that's just what it was. I think that's why everything kind of happened naturally. Like I don't go out. I don't really mix with people all like that. It's kind of not really in my nature. I do like to go out from time to time, but most of the time I would just come down here in this very basement, and I would just be like, I'm bored. I'm gonna make some music for me, nobody else. You know what I mean? Literally just being an artsy fart, man. Just chilling in the basement, just kind of let especially being here and not having my homies out here, because I have my whole squad back home. I had nobody to really talk to, so it kind of became a bit of a artistic necessity, dude. I sat down in the basement, and I'd be like, you know what? I got something to say, but if it's 10 o'clock here, it's 5 o'clock back home, and people are still at work. So if I need to vent, I can't vent to anybody. So I'll tell you what, I can vent to this microphone. They're not going to get upset about it. The microphone ain't going to talk back. They're not going to be annoyed. So I kind of found myself using, the basement as a therapeutic situation. More nothing else really. It was fun and it was therapeutic. It was cathartic. And then next thing you know, I just decided, I'm getting a bit better with it, and I'm really self-conscious and keep to myself with a lot of stuff. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Give it a go. Let's see what's going on. So I started sharpening my tools. And again, I have a big background in poetry. So I've been writing poetry since I was 7, 8 years old. I won 3 poetry contests before the age of 13.
That's amazing.
So my foundation is poetry first. That's what I like. If I can't read my rhymes back as if it's prose or poetry, then I didn't do it right. Like, you're not really going to catch many filler bars from me. I don't really play around with that bullshit, man. Like, if I'm gonna take the time to speak on a microphone, I want you guys to be able to get at least some information from it. You know what I mean? Nice. So then that kind of happened, and man. And then I guess fast forward, I would just put a little silly shit on my story, and decided to make a music video, and then major shout out to the homies at the Vanilla Record Store in Southampton. Yeah, because they urged me to play at their 1-year anniversary gig, and that kind of changed the game, because I wasn't going to do it, and they were like, bro, like, come through.
Well, how come you weren't feeling doing it? Like, or what was it?
Self-consciousness, man. Like, I'm not going to front on you. Like, it was kind of like, again, I come from a outside of a city or a city area where if you're not coming correct, then sit the fuck down. That's how we are. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we don't really play around with that shit. If we think you whack, we're gonna tell you whack. So at one point, I didn't think I was worthy. I feel like I still had shit to do, and I had other priorities. Like, I wasn't worried about being no rap star or being the cool guy in Southampton or Philly or anywhere. I didn't give a fuck about none of that. I still don't give a shit about none of that. I had a little boy to raise. I had bills to pay. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like, I'm not really trying to mess with my 9 to 5 bread, trying to chase the brain. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't got time for all that. So I really wasn't feeling it. All I wanted to do was create some music videos for me and for, the homies to be like, yo, don't sleep on me. I got bars, but I ain't going to do nothing from it. But, luckily, I got some great supporters, man. And people really feel where I come from and kind of feel the vibe. So, I will always work at my own pace. But the cool thing is my pace is a high pace. I just don't say shit. I ain't going to front. I got about 3 albums sitting on this computer right in front of me right now. I'll release them when I want to. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Because ain't nobody actually checking for me, so what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but having 3 albums in your vault is like a good position to be in, like, for any artist. Like, you don't really have to worry about recording. You can record when you want to because you've got, like, it stacked up in your back.
Yeah, I'd rather have some shit in the chamber than just let off the whole round just for a small sample size of people. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at now. Is oftentimes, especially my peoples who know who I am, they know my work ethic, and they're like, and they've heard these tracks I'm talking about, and they're like, "What you doing?" And they're just like, "We know you calculated, so what are you doing?" I'm like, "Bear with me." I said, at the moment, I'm a very self-aware dude, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful of the people who support me, but in terms of the eyes on me that I'd like to have on me, they're not on me yet. But soon come, trust me. I got some shit in my back pocket. Hence the chest piece that I use. If as soon as I decide that it'll be fruitful for me to start releasing tracks, then I shall. As of right now, I'm enjoying listening to them for myself and sending them over to my homies. Shit, you asked me to send you some shit. I'll send you some shit too.
Yo, I need that. I need that right there.
That's not an issue. I'll send you a nice 10-piece tonight.
I'm ready. Cool. So you mentioned like being in your basement and like just forcing out what you're feeling to the mic. You're a producer as well, right? And you've come from a musical family. So what's your process in making a song? Like, is it beat first, raps first?
Oh, dude, it's all anarchy, baby. There's no specific process because my mind doesn't stop, right? So I might wake up listening to Wilson Phillips and then watch a rap battle afterwards, and then I might piece those things together. True story. I'm listening to this West Coast band called Penback, and they have this beautiful song called Chevelle. And this is not a hip hop group by any means, but there's a 4-second clip of this gnarly beat. And I decided to write a whole track off the back of it because me and my mother had a conversation about something. So it's an amalgamation of influence. There is no specific process, hence which the whole Lawless thing started off as a joke, but it evolved into something more. It started off as a joke and evolved into a mindset. I don't have a process. I don't want a process. I will never have a process because times change, people change, influence changes. So I might pick up my bass because, again, I'm not just a hip hop artist. I write songs. I've been in a band. I was in a band, an emo band called Nerves Worn Thin when I was like 16. You know what I mean? I currently am working with my homeboy from the West Coast. Shout out to Nail Polish in LA. We're doing an emo trap song. I got a shout out to my homeboy Elijah Dawn. He's a sick producer.
Yo, shout out to Elijah Dawn. Yeah.
Me and him got some heat on the way. He's
for real.
Yep, that's on the way. Shout out to my boy Kurt Fagan from Southampton. He got some real sick boom bap that we're getting ready to fuck up.
Okay.
Because I'm all about adaptability, right? I don't like having a process because to be comfortable with the process makes me uncomfortable. I'm from a punk background.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm gonna sit down and lay out a track and then I'm gonna spit. No, dude, I write my best bars in less than 45 minutes. It needs to be quick. It needs to be from the heart, quick. You know what I mean? And not only that, I write my best melodies when I might just be chilling down. I don't fucking know, dude. It depends on which direction the wind is going. And that's the beauty of being able to explore your mind and being comfortable with oneself. That's just what it is. But to answer your question, not to sound convoluted or I feel like I'm like walking around in a circle, the simple answer is I refuse to have a process because otherwise if I have a process, then it's too regimented and that takes away from the fun.
Nice. So you mentioned being in an emo band when you were 16. I'm interested to hear more about this. Like, how did you come together? Like, how long did you last until you broke up?
That's funny that you asked that. That was my first live music performance. You know what are you a psychologist or something? That's probably why I didn't want to perform because our performances were awful. They were
really
awful. And basically, make a long story short, I come from a musical background, so me and my homies were like, just kicking it one day playing GameCube or some shit. My other homie's got I'm in the suburbs at this point. My one homie got a guitar, the other one got a bass. It's like, Sanchez, jump on the drums. I'm like, cool, dude. Like, and they're like, oh, you can actually play drums. I'm like, I just know how to keep a beat, bro. I can't play drums. So then they asked me to be the drummer of their bands. Yeah, and black drummers were popping back, but they don't forget about Yellow Card. They're like, hey, jump in this band. I'm like, all right, cool. Make a long story short, my parents were like, what you doing? Talking about being in the band, you better take your ass to that grocery store, make that money. So I'm in this band, and we made. I wrote for the band too. One of the first songs. I wrote. Yeah, I wrote a couple songs, man. Again, this is back in the day. This is like MySpace times, cause like this ain't. This is pre whatever the fuck y'all kids is on right now, man. So I don't even have the recordings. I keep asking, like, yo, send me that terrible song that we used to do. But yeah, that was that. And then I moved to Maryland, and I met this amazing dude.
How come? What inspired the move to Maryland? Like, was it family or studies or?
Dude, I moved to Maryland because my mom is out there now. My brother, shout out to Ace. Hold up, shout out to Ace Caden. Shout out to Shinkai Flames. They nasty. My brother's, my mom's is out there, and I stayed out there for them a little bit. But I ended up meeting this dude. Ended up going to live with this sick dude named Jack. And my man was really on his music. Again, another amalgamation. I feel like my whole life with music was like, I feel like my life with music was like Slumdog Millionaire. You know that movie where like, you're kind of like, why do I like this? And you think back like, oh, that's why. So I didn't know what drum and bass was. He told me what that was.
I see.
He introduced me to Doom for real. He introduced me to Defcon 1979, the Pixies. He got me really into it. And he made me scratch on his turntables. He made me play the drums, and we was just jamming. So
he was your homie for real.
Dude, he is my homie for real. Shout out to Dr. Jack. He's a doctor now. Shout out to my man. So yeah, dude. So I moved out there for that, and yeah, I was all over the place, dude. So it was pretty nuts. It was pretty fun.
Nice. So like you mentioned being introduced to MF Doom and the Pixies. And as like an artist who takes inspiration from new things that you witness and you experience, what was it like listening to these new artists and bands and being like, oh, I really like that, I'm gonna take that. Like how did you first react listening to MF Doom? Because like for anyone who knows MF Doom, the first listen is always a memorable one.
Right. Do you want to hear something wild? I remember hearing about Doom initially, and all my homies are coming like, Aaron, you're a hip-hop head. I'm surprised you don't get down with Doom. And this is when I was about 16, 17.
Okay.
I was like, bro, I'm not really feeling like, Operation Doomsday and all that yet. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready. I hate to sound corny, dude, but the album that actually changed my mind to maybe go back to the back catalog and re-listen was Danger Doom.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so Jack says to me, bro, you told me you like Doom, but you're not in love with him. But I know you. I'm a big-ass nerd. If you know me, I'm a massive nerd. He was like, look, Danger Mouse and MF Doom got this album called Danger Doom, and it's kind of introduced by Cartoon Network. I know you're a fucking nerd. You're going to love this shit. Just give it a go. And specifically, Sofa King, Crosshairs, those two particular songs caught me off guard. When he comes in with that bar, scared of a bunch of water, then get out the rain, order a rapper for lunch and spit out the right? I was like, this he on some other shit, bro. So I really started getting into it. The thing that really resonated with me with Doom was not the same things that would resonate with me with, say, Black Thought or Nas or anybody else. The thing that resonated to me with Doom is the absolute freedom that he had when he wrote, which kind of translates into I spit about whatever I want, whenever I want. And Doom kind of gave me that like, yo, dude, you could talk about anything, and you could talk about really slick metaphors and use really obscure references and really play with people's minds. And also the other thing that really got me into Doom was the alter ego, the Metal Finger's alter ego. Like there's Aaron, and when I get on stage, like Defcon Lawless is a whole other person. Like that's a character, that's a person in which I can dig deep into my psyche and my ego and really pull out what it is. And I was like, you know what, man, I don't have to really put my business out there like that. I can speak through the minds and the mouth of this character. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And that was great because I got to see Doom perform in London, so that was really cool too.
Dope. Very, very rare, like, being able to see him perform live.
Yeah, so that was really fucking cool.
Wait, are you sure it wasn't Doom Imposter?
Hey, who really knows? All I know is if it was an imposter, I feel like it was Doom because, listen.
You can tell.
The person who had the mask on had the crusty sweatpants on and the dingy Nikes, just like I would expect Doom to have.
Exactly.
Second part, Pixies.
Massive
deal to me as well, because when I got introduced to Surfer Rosa by the Pixies, again, you'll see a common theme with a lot of the artists that I like. That comes from the pioneers of indie rock, where they literally, and I felt like that was a different type of freedom as well, especially within the hip hop and urban community, where you had to kind of fall into a certain category. But there's a song on Surfer Rosa called Broken Face, and nobody knows what it is now. If a person from my community was just coming out with something like that at that time, they'd be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But that freedom is something that I really love, is to be able to do what you want when you want. And you'll see that that's very much a common theme with the things that I like to do. Like I don't like to be put into a box. Like again, bro, I can't wait till like some of these projects come out. I can't speak on one in particular. That's the fun one. But some of the other ones, bro, like I can't wait to be able to be like, look, I'm going to establish myself in doing what I'd like, when I'd like, because all the artists that I look up to, and that's a very extremely small sample size, is a common denominator. They live fearlessly and they don't give a fuck about people's opinions when it comes to their artistic expression. So that's the main thing that I took from them too.
Yeah, you seem to be attracted more so to the artists which are like originators, pioneers, like innovators, like had their own little source to it, so do it differently. So I'm interested, like after talking to you about Doom, and you mentioned Black Thought is one of your favorite rappers. Which other rappers are really big inspiration for like the Defcon sound and like the energy you try to bring?
Oh, I mean, what, in terms of contemporary or just in general?
We can start with contemporary and then go into general, but like,
sure. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I'll give you a couple. We'll start off from the UK. One of my favorite MCs from the UK, for me, who embodies everything that I love, is Cass is Dead.
Cass is Dead. Oh, Cass is Dead is mad with it, with the mask, with the like horrorcore like lyricism.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I'm a real big fan of Cass is Dead. I'm a real big fan of Run the Jewels. You know, I love LP. I love Killer Mike.
Yeah.
So you kind of see what direction I'm going here.
100.
I look at my inspiration wall. Obviously, we got to shout out to Jay-Z. We got to shout out to Jigga.
Yeah, of course.
On my wall in front of me, we got to shout out Nas, Redman, Wu-Tang Clan, Wu-Tang all day, every day. You feel what I'm saying? So I really love that gritty East Coast sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, goodness. It goes back to the obscure 90s hip-hop shit, dude. I love not even obscure, but like Black Moon. I'm really into Tribe, obviously. You know what I mean? All the cliches you could think of in terms like Mos Def, Common, Old Ye, a little bit of New Ye. Dude, it goes on and on. I think that I really, even Action Bronson, you know what I mean?
For sure. If you like Ghostface Killer, you kind of have to like Action Bronson. Like, these similarities.
By default. So, man, that's basically like, that's a very long conversation. So I'm trying to keep it, you know, to a minimum.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm looking through my playlist right now. Camp Low, Gangstar, Busta. I've been feeling Shakewell recently. You know what I mean? Smith and Wesson, Far Side. God, it goes on and on. Souls of Mischief, shout out to them.
Yeah.
LL, who's underrated. You know what I mean? Like, and then even some of the, to put all that aside, the obvious answers, there's a lot of new jacks that I really fuck with heavy, dude. Like, God, like I never thought I'd ever say I'd be a Young Thug fan. I'm a big Young Thug fan.
His melodies are insane.
Shout out to Lil Uzi Vert. Shout out to
Lil Uzi from Philly as well.
Uzi from Philly too. It took a little time to warm up to him, but I completely fuck what he's doing too. Speaking of Philly represent, RJD2 is a producer from Philly.
Okay.
He is insane. He's kind of the producer's producer. He kind of really gives me a lot of inspiration because he could sing. He also he could sing. He produces. He scratches, not mixes. He scratches. He gets in there. There's a difference to me, especially with DJ Uncles. I'm sorry, bro. Mixes are cute, but if you can really cut, we can talk. You know what I mean? And then my homie Obi-Wan Shinobi, big fan of him. And then, dude, the thing about it is, bro, like, I don't know if you follow me, like, I'm very deep into music when it comes to not only my interests, but more importantly, other people's interests and why they like it. So what I like to do periodically is ask people on my Instagram story what they listening to, and then I like to.
I've seen you do that. That's dope.
And I love it. I love it because it serves me two purposes. Number one, I get to see what y'all like and get new music. And number two, it's just like, well, actually, that is both reasons, isn't it? I get to see what everybody else likes, and I get to get new music. So it's beautiful. So if
you get such a solid amount of engagement as well. Like, so many people reply to those. Like, it's a long story of like just different people sending you songs and shit.
Oh, I'm so grateful, man. I think if I'm being completely honest, I'm grateful for that because I can never put all of them up. I have to.
Yeah,
I
shit.
got to pick as many as I can. So that's really cool. I've taken a bit of a break from it, to be honest, because I'm just like, I got to focus on the music for now. But I can't. But I can't wait to get back to it because it's so fun, man. And I think the cool thing about it too is one of the most beautiful parts about it is my homies will DM me and be like, "Bro, who sent that?" And I'd be like, one of my homies from London might be like, "Who sent that?" And I'd be like, "Yo, my homie from Brooklyn sent that." They're like, "Oh, dope." So the beautiful thing about being in my position is I got homies from both sides of the pond. Yeah. And then I might be like, "Yo, my friend such and such said this one." Or sometimes I might hit somebody like, "Oh, I'll be listening to it, remember who sent it," and be like, screenshot, "Yo, by the way, thanks for that." You know what I mean? Because it's all about bringing people together, kind of full circle back to the Lawless Collective. That's what I really want. Yeah. Camaraderie. And common ground through sonic expression, through interest, through music. Expression. You know what I mean? So yeah, that I'm glad you peeped that because that shit's fun. I love doing that shit.
Yeah, it's gnarly. But like also like leading on to that, we asked you what kind of rappers inspire you, but what genres and artists outside of hip hop are bigger for you as well?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm so glad you said that. A massive influence to me initially was 80s new wave. So I love 80s pop. I love 80s new wave. I love 80s goth. So Bauhaus, Joy Division, The Cure. You understand? Like I love
these are bands that I've literally just started listening to recently because like quarantine, I have so much time. It's just like revisiting music history, like trying to know as much as possible, get some new vibrations. Yeah, man. So yeah. So could you build on like certain aspects of these bands and how they inspire you? Because from you saying Joy Division and Bauhaus, it just makes me think of like your music video for like Neighborhood, for example, which has a really dark atmosphere, and it's like you wouldn't really think that this is a rapper's music video, but then like talking to you, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, dude, because that's a very important part of everything I like to bring to the table. I come from an era where I was really into my gothic films and the gothic sounds. I just watched Interview with a Vampire yesterday again. That's very much what I like. So not only do I love this stuff sonically, but I also love the aesthetic that it brings, that dark, almost macabre, really noir feel. I really resonate with that, with the emo in me. Really resonates with that. The goth in me really resonates with that. So I'd very much like to be in a position where somebody from a goth background might be like, I might not like his music, but God, I love his visuals. Yeah. Or somebody from a hip hop background might be like, I don't necessarily like his visuals, but God, I like his music. Like I kind of want to be able to bring people together. That's what it's all about. It's not about me at all. At the end of the day. Initially, when I make it, it's about me, but when I present it to the world, it's about everyone. So what I really take from this is even the melodies, everything as a producer, I really take on board melody and the overall feel of a track, right? Yeah. So, for instance, we'll deep dive into a track that I love from The Cure. My favorite song by The Cure of all time is called A Forest by The Cure. Oh my God. Look, if you can see my hairs on my arm right now, that shit makes the hair stand up on my arm. It's the melody, it's the feeling, it's the tone, it's the sound. It takes me to another place. And my favorite holiday in the world, more than Christmas, is Halloween. That's when I get into my most creative bag, is when there's a bit of that occult darkness, that little bit of nuance, that veil of you know what I mean, that mysticism. I really, really resonate with that, and I love the spiritual side, or the I really feel comfortable not knowing shit. So I love the unknown, and when I hear these bands, it really makes me get deep into my psyche about the unknown, and that's what I love about them. You understand? And not only that, let's talk about the pioneers of The Cure. The Cure back in this time. And you know, God rest his soul, I forget his name, but The Cure's drummer was a black dude, and I thought that was so dope for back then, and I didn't realize that until later on in the game. But also shout out to my mama for really getting me into that as well. That's a very important thing. My mother was punk as fuck back in the day. Black punk woman.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
really
And
before you continue, this tangent, which I'm really interested in, but like
people need. Now, this is what like this series is all about. Like just letting people go speak about stuff, like go on tangents, like say everything they need to. But anyway, like people need to realize that hip hop and punk, the origins of them was kind of like next to each other, and like they definitely like grew at a similar time and had like similar messages to begin with. Like, and I think you represent that so well, being like part hip hop, part punk, part this and that. So like, yeah, it's really nice. Really nice hearing you talk about all of this. Like, I'm learning a lot, and yeah, I hope anyone viewing this is enjoying it as well.
Listen, I want to say thank you for even pointing it out, and thank you for having me. Like I said, because I love talking about it. And I think it's very important that we stop being divisive when it comes to talking about the sonic expression. It all comes back down to making sure that we understand the roots of everything. For instance, the punk rock scene wouldn't be what it is without Bad Brains. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Punk
so
rock,
true.
All black punk rock pioneers from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Let's stop playing. And let's not stop there and be like, it's just this type of, no, let's talk about the fact that it's brought everyone together. You know what I'm saying?
Same way that the Beastie Boys were such big pioneers for hip hop as well. Like, and the hip hop album, and like just pushing rap to like bigger crowds, and like the way people rap, the way people dressed, like the fan base for rap. Like they brought rap to like college dorms and shit, where it may not have gone if like the Beastie Boys didn't push it. And then of course like Public Enemy came after that, and then Rage Against the Machine, and they're all just similar family tree.
100%. And I'm all about the disenfranchised and the overlooked. And that's very important that I bring up one very important point. Not only is it important to represent all races, it's very important to represent all genders. And what I mean by that is there are so many women who I look up to in terms of musicians, in terms of MCs, in terms of pioneers that do not get talked about. That's very important to me as well. Because most cats will be like, I can give you a top 25 favorite female MCs list. I love a female MC. I love the empowerment of women. I love making sure that they're represented as well, especially coming from basically a single mom and, you know, growing up on MC Light, Queen Latifah, Bahamadia. You feel what I'm saying? Switching over to now. Let's talk about y'all own. Let's talk about Little Sims, man. How is Let's talk about her.
Oh, yeah, word.
Bro, because she's on some other shit, and
she really is.
I know she's getting representation. I get that, but I feel like she should be getting more. And you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For real, she's like top 5 MCs in UK to me. Like, I'm so lucky because I saw her live, and definitely it gave me an appreciation for her that I wouldn't have if I didn't see her live.
Dude, and I completely agree. I heard Little Sims by accident once on Spotify. I popped up on my Spotify. And I was like, what the actual fuck did I just hear? This is hard, dude. This is hard. Rhapsody, come on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's one of the best rappers of the 2010s, like Rhapsody with Layla's Wisdom, what she done with Eve. 2 like modern classic rap albums, but like not enough people are talking about. People which know are talking about it, but like the mainstream hasn't picked up on it like at the rate they should have.
But you know what? I got faith in that, and I'll tell you what.
Definitely, the 2020s, hopefully.
Dude, the one thing I'd like to have is, one thing I really hope is, you know, if everything pans out the way that I'm hoping it does, I'd very much like to have a platform to be able to talk about these incredible female MCs. Funny story. Even Jay-Z, you want to hear something hilarious? Here's how much respect I have for female MCs from Day. I thought Jay-Z was Foxy Brown's hype man, my G.
Yo. That's great. That's great.
I loved Foxy Brown so much. Like, who's this dude on the background? He all right. He's cool. So I was into Foxy Brown before I was into Jay-Z. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Foxy Brown put you onto Jay-Z.
Say again?
Foxy Brown put you onto Jay-Z.
That's an actual fact.
I love
because that was during the whole Il Na Na era. But during that time, I'm a little kid, and I was really a bad boy kid. So I love Biggie, Mace, Puff. I love the shiny suit rappers, you know what I mean? Like, I was into that shit. And then I I didn't hear reason. I didn't listen. I heard Reasonable Doubt early in the game because of my uncles, but I didn't listen to Reasonable Doubt until I was like 13. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I heard it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when I was like 9, but when I listened to Reasonable Doubt and 22 Twos came on, that's what fucked me up. It was Life and Times of Sean Carter Volume 2, that album, and specifically 22 Twos on Reasonable Doubt. When he said 22 times, my little brain was like, Mom, did he say 22 times? Like, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? That Black Thought fucked me up on Philadelphia Life and War, because that's when I really heard lyricism in that real soulful swing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that really fucked me up. Anyways, you better stop me, bro. I've been drinking, so I'm gonna keep going on tangents. You don't stop me.
I love it. Carry on drinking. This is great. Before I interrupted you, you were like talking about your mom being big into punk herself, like being an original black punk. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, let me start off. She was very punk in terms of sensibility, but she was obsessed with more of the new wave. So my mom was more Duran Duran, Prince, David Bowie, Madonna, and it kind of translated to that real empowerment woman movement. So Janet Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then she got me into Whitney.
Janet Jackson inspires so many modern artists like people don't even know. If you look at Beyonce performance and a Janet Jackson performance, Beyonce definitely gets some of her steez from like the way Janet carried herself.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. And if she said otherwise, she'd be lying, which I doubt she would. She would never. But my mother was very open-minded when it came to music, and she kind of set that precedent. So when I was a kid, on Christmas, we used to listen to 10 Summoner's Tales by Sting, right? So I grew up being obsessed with Sting, and then when I heard that rappers were sampling some Police tracks, you know what I mean? What's it called? You know, the Biggie Memorial track with Puff. Every breath you take. When that joint came out, I was like, whoa. So not only was my mom right, but rappers are fucking with this too, man. So and then like shit like Kaja Gugu, New Order, and very much me and my mother, bless her, she came out here. I was so stoked when she came out here. We went to the bar and we played Depeche Mode, and we're sitting in the bar singing Depeche Mode, screaming it at each other at like 12 at night. Because
that's great. That's greatness. Yeah.
So that was more of the shit that she got me into. Very, especially like Depeche Mode and the Police, dude. Like, so that opened my eyes. And when I saw my mother as a black woman, especially during the Afrocentric movement, still repping this shit, I'm like, I can do this too. I'm not going to stop, because why should I? I don't care what the hood's saying. I'm going to listen to what I want to. You know what I mean?
That's dope. So for what I gather from what you said is that like your mom was proudly black, but still like listened to different kinds of music. She like vibe with, like didn't really let that like interfere with her tastes, and you kind of like learned that from her, and like that's part of what you've adapted into Defcon Lawless as well.
100%. Shout out to my mother, Lacey Brown. Because I'll tell you right now. Shout out to her. She'll love to hear this. I'll tell you that right now. She displayed a supreme balance when it came to respecting our culture and still being able to be inclusive of other cultures and kind of take from what she likes. She raised me on that. She raised me like you can always be proud of who you are, and just because you listen to something else or do something else. She was very anti-conformist, and she taught me to be the same way. Fuck what anybody's saying. Do you like what you like? And if people don't fuck with you, then fuck them. And my mom was very much that type of person. So I kind of grew up with that mentality. And I'm the same way. Of course, I like for people to enjoy what I like. But at the end of the day, especially in 2020, if you don't rock with my shit, you can easily go look at something else.
Definitely, definitely.
Because there's millions of talented artists out there who will probably not annoy you. But if you fuck with me, then listen, because I got some more for you. You know what I mean? Like,
have you had any experience with haters, like whether it was back when you were Lackluster or in your emo band, or just being grown up in Philly or anywhere where like people have just like not taken to you and then made it allow that they're not feeling you like?
Ooh, let me actually think about this, because I have a tendency to create imaginary adversaries. No, man. Nobody really said "fuck you, you suck." Nobody ever did. The most I ever got was, "I like that, Aaron. I need more." Or maybe if you step the number one thing I ever got from people was, "Aaron, it's sick. Fix your sound quality."
Oh, for real?
And my answer to that would be like, yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I love that rawness. Like, the rawness is what I like. I want people to know that I recorded it in my basement a little tipsy. I want people to know that I had a rough day and I didn't want to sing the same verse 100 times. You know what I mean? I want people to hear the development, because at the end of the day, a lot of people be like, "Oh, I worked on this same track for 2 months." Dude, fuck off. I am not working on a track for 2 months. I might not work on a track for 2 hours. You're going to get what you get, because at the end of the day, instead of me overworking one track, I'd rather take what I learned from the last one that wasn't good and apply it to the new one.
I see.
That's my mentality. Henceforth, why I have so much material just chilling. Because every time I do something, I learn something new. And instead of being like, "Oh, fix it," I'm like, "Oh, fuck that one. That one's old. I'm doing something else." You know what I mean? So, no specific haters. Nobody really says you're whack or this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, the number one backhanded compliment I ever got was, "Bro, it's really good. I didn't think it was going to be that good." You know what I mean?
How do you react to that?
I say thank you. Thank you for, like, to be quite honest, because I didn't think I'd be doing this at all. So I take I don't really take it to heart too much if people say shit like that to me. I'm just like, "Oh, you could work on," yeah, sure, I could work on something, so could you. Like, we could all work on something. So thank you for the corrective criticism. I will apply that. And if I feel like you were getting a little too spicy, then I'll make sure that I spice up my next rhyme. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I was just like looking at one of your lyrics, and on Neighborhood, you say in the chorus, like, "The revolution will not be televised." This kind of makes me think of like Jill Scott Heron, because of course this track, Public Enemy, Rage Against the Machine. You mentioned earlier that you like making music with a message. Is this something that you're like consciously trying to write in because of your poetry background, or sometimes you just want to make like a turn up song and you don't want to like have too much of a message?
So I don't like to specifically put political stances on my music.
I see.
I like for people to have their own interpretation of what they'd like.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is about that track in particular, and a lot of things, it's kind of a bit of a madness. I don't set up themes for what I write. It just flows out. So that song was actually written after I had food poisoning, and I passed out from having food poisoning. I woke up and I was in a dream state. And I started typing in my phone, and I passed back out again. So I don't even recall really writing that.
Is it? Was it almost like sleep paralysis type thing?
I wouldn't say sleep paralysis. I don't. That would be cool, but I'd be embellishing if that's what I said.
Yeah.
I was in a dream state. I was in a different state where. So for instance, that opening line where I say, "How do commoners move amongst giants? How the lambs to the slaughter would the wrath of a lion?" Jeez. I don't know where that came from. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
I have no idea. Sometimes I get into this weird, almost like a fugue state where I lock in, and then I do this and I get on my day. And that's what kind of makes the art fun for me, is because I get into this really strange state. And then I write and I record, and I don't recall writing it at all. So that makes it sometimes a bit scary, but fun at the same time, because I kind of get into this weird madness where I don't know where it came from. Like I was like a bit possessed. And that's where I can't tell you, dude. Like that must have been deep in my psyche. I might have been thinking about something deep in my dream. Woke up from my food poisoning, wrote it down. I woke back up looking at my notes like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And then that's what happened. And then the revolution will be televised came up, and I know exactly what I mean by that in terms of, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if some shit's really gonna pop off, y'all ain't gonna know about it.
Word.
We're not. It's not gonna be all over the the media. It's the revolution won't be televised. When are we gonna stop glorifying people telling lies?
Preach. So you mentioned you don't really want to come from like a certain political stance, but your music does still feel very like rebellious. Is that again like coming from your punk like background and you like love for that kind of like energy?
Right. I'm a person and advocate of free thought. Now there's gonna be things that there's gonna be subjects that I'm extremely passionate about, and I like to think that my audience, and I know that my audience, no matter how small they might be, are very intelligent individuals. So I like to promote people to start thinking critically as opposed to thinking in a linear sense. Yeah. So what I mean by that is I'm not really in a position to be telling people what they should be thinking or how they should be thinking, but I do want to question the type of thoughts that one may have depending on what their stance is. I really want to promote dialogue between different peoples and groups so we can move forward as a society. So without saying specifically, hey, here's what y'all should be thinking, it's like, hey, maybe everyone should think a little bit differently and take a time out in the way in which you are processing information. Because I'll tell you what, it's beneficial for me, and I suggest that you do the same thing. So that's more or less where I come from. It comes from more of an existential stance as opposed to an earthbound stance. Well, how are we thinking? How did you come to that conclusion? What are we going to do moving forward as a group? Or more so, what are you going to do as an individual? And let's be clear. Nobody knows a fucking thing about anything, so stop acting like you do, right? Yeah. But in the meantime, what are you going to do about your specific orb or sphere that you kind of have your earthbound issues with? You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. I come from more of a psychological stance. I come from more of an existential stance. Yeah. That's why, I no matter which way I approach it, it's always going to be philosophical. That's kind of the theme.
Sweet. So earlier you mentioned that you came to England from Philadelphia because you started a family with your partner and everything. And I'm just interested, like, to go further into that, like, how was your reaction first coming to England? Like, what were the big differences you saw from here in the States?
I think that it initially was the mentality. I think that it's going to be it wasn't a major culture shock. It wasn't exactly like, it wasn't super crazy, but it's so hard, man, because I've been here for almost a decade. So realistically, it's even hard to think back about those times.
This has become your home now, like.
It's actually probably it's kind of hard to think back. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, dude, this is what happened, and here's what I think. It's a lot different. I think that the longer I've been here, I'll tell you one thing I realized is how similar the countries are the longer I've been here, and how there's there's going to be little things like y'all call what we call lays walkers. I say y'all, but it's really me. I've been here, like, we call this, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even say y'all anymore. It's like, we call this that. Like, the cute shit. Like, I thought that a torch was an actual torch, but that's what we call a flashlight. You know what I mean? Like, got an extra syllable in aluminium. That's cute too. But yeah, the language of the culture, I think that one thing I really respected about this place is the high percentage of educated individuals here. And what I mean by that is it's a lot harder to be able to go into university in the States as opposed to it is out here. So I found that very, very cool. And I've met some very insightful, creative individuals in Southampton, whether they come from London, down here and go back to London, or people from Southampton in general. Well, not only that, this is the South Coast, dude. Like, obviously, like, Portsmouth, Bristol, Brighton, all that. I think it's a lot different. There's obviously going to be a lot of things that you could be like, all right, like, a lot of comparisons and contrasting going on. But all in all, it's really, to be honest with you, bro, it's hard to say. I've been here for so long. I've become part kind of molded in here. And shout out to the people around here for allowing me to do that, because I've been welcomed with open arms, and I really appreciate the city of Southampton for doing that. Again, whether it's Heartbreakers venue, who put on my first show, big shout out to Vanillo, the people who've come out to the shows, the people who listen to my music, people who've given feedback, shit, anybody who said anything kind, it really means so much. And it's I don't think I'd be able to do. I wouldn't be Defcon Lawless if I was still back home. So that means a lot. Nah, I wouldn't have been, man, because there was a lot of hot spitters and a lot of a different standards.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So if I said, oh, I got some rhymes, they'll be expecting me to spit over some Philadelphia specific stuff. Yeah. Whereas here, I was able to reinvent myself, and the people in the city allowed me to reinvent myself, and again, allowed me to move freely around here and do what I want to do the way I want to do it, and not only that, but encourage it. So shout out to Southampton for real.
Well, that's really interesting you say that, because early on today we had a girl from Italy, like a black Italian girl, and she was talking about how moving to London was like gave her more like freedom with her creativity. And me being someone who has like spent most of their life in England, I wouldn't think like, oh, England is this haven where people are allowed to express themselves freely. But listening to both of your stories and like thinking about it, like I think England is in a really good place for creatives in many ways. Like from the venues to the galleries. So thanks for sharing that with us.
I think you should definitely it's always a situation in which if you can see it from the other side.
Exactly.
So again, I come from a place where it was open and different, but within certain parameters.
Yeah.
Right? Here, especially given that I'm not from here, people don't really give me no shit. I can say what I want and do what I want, and it's pretty fly. And shout out to my hood and my block. Like the homies back home always knew how I got down, and they always encouraged me. Let's not play. Yeah. But I would keep it to myself because it was a different environment.
Okay,
here,
I feel you.
Here it's kind of like I can do what the fuck I want. Say what I want, and the more that I do what I want, the more these lovely people encourage me to do it. So why not?
Love to hear that. I love to hear that.
So why not? Fuck it.
Yeah. Great. Also, just to go back a bit, when you were listening to artists that your mom was into, you were talking about Whitney Houston, and that's one of the artists. Like I remember being younger and seeing like my parents' CD collection and like looking at the album. So could you just tell us about like how Whitney Houston was for you, like when you first listened to her, and like why you think your mom really liked her?
Hey man, you got a future in this interviewing gig. I'll tell you that much right now.
Thank you. It's appreciated. Thanks.
It's funny you say that. I was talking to my lovely mother. I talk to my mom pretty often because she keeps me grounded. You gotta keep in contact with your mom, right? She told me, she's like, Aaron, my mom was she'd love to talk to you guys. She says, Aaron, you don't realize how much you loved Whitney Houston when you were a baby. I said, what you mean, Mom? She was like, you would sit there and ask me to play I Want to Dance with Somebody, and what is it? How Do I Know? How do I know? Back to back. I'm like, Mom, play it again. I mean, it was all instinctive to me. Like, she played certain songs and certain melodies, and it would hit me in my soul. Like, there's a song by this band called Fine Young Cannibals. UK stand up once again. Fine Young Cannibals.
Okay.
My mom was very heavily influenced by UK rock as well. So, Fine Young Cannibals comes on. I'm losing my mind to that shit too. Sorry, go a bit of a tangent again.
No, go ahead.
I was just introduced to radical ass shit by my village, by my people, by people I ran into, and I was always one for absorbing it. Like, I've always been a sponge. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm a really good listener when it comes to other people's interests. Like, I'm very interested to know what other people like. Again, back to the philosophical thing. And why? Why do you like that?
Yeah.
Why do you like that? Tell me why. Because since you're enjoying it so much, I want to feel that same level of enjoyment. So tell me why you like it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Actually, upon second listening, that's fucking sick. I want to like it too.
I feel that perspective is very important for artists to have, like to not be dismissive of like, other people's arts. Like, because say there's an artist that's popular and people are just like, yo, the trash, why people fucking with this? You're really missing out on, like, if you try and understand why people are liking it, then it just gives you a great perspective in the whole of like, people have their own reasons for liking different music and stuff, and like, the more people understand that, not even just artists, I think like it will just make the world a more open place. Like,
I absolutely agree, my bro. I think that's a really good point that you made. I think everybody has a point in their life where they get a bit snobby when it comes to the musical tastes.
Word.
And I think that's important to point out. And I think it's important to have, because that just shows that you're very passionate about your specific stuff that you like. But once you get past that hump, right? All right, for instance, I found myself during the mumble rap era when it first came on the scene, being very against it. Very, very against it. And revolting against it and saying this, that, and the third. And then I woke up one day and I said to myself, bro, if you really have an issue with these people, the way they're spitting, what the fuck are you doing, G? Like, are you, hold on a second, ask yourself a question. This is where the self-awareness comes in. If you really think that you could rap better than these people, why don't you fucking do it then? Or shut the fuck up and sit down, because you're sounding bitter. Because all these people are trying to do is get some bread and express themselves, right? So that was the last time that I found myself being in a pocket where I was being judgmental. It's very rare, like you said, you saw my stories of people, and you see that I respond to the songs that people send me.
Yeah.
You will never see me negatively respond to somebody sending me something.
That's something I noticed. It's always like, oh, I remember hearing this for the first time. Yo, this is dope. I need to check this more out. Like, and that just makes your like Instagram account a safe space for people to like come to with the music. And I guess people are more likely to message you or check out your stuff because they know that you're like an open guy and not someone who's like acting all bougie because they think, well, they've got some pedigree. Even though you've got like a good knowledge of music, you're trying to share that knowledge and like get more rather than be like, oh, nah, this ain't as good as this or this ain't as good as this. Like,
what does that matter, dude? Like, who actually fucking cares? Because at the end of the day, art is up for interpretation, correct? So, like,
yeah,
if it's up for interpretation, I can't tell somebody might see a Picasso and be like, that's whack.
Yeah.
Somebody might see some Jean-Michel Basquiat and be like, yo, that's corny as fuck. And then you might be like, dude, but do you know the story behind it? What's the background?
Jean-Michel Basquiat?
Oh!
Can you see?
Bro, remind me to sing you this track called Turpentine Soiree when I'm spitting about Birkenstocks and Basquiat socks. All right?
I need to hear that. Okay, I'll remember.
I'm excited about that one. But no, sick shirt, bro. Sick shirt.
Thank you. Shout out to Uniqlo. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
All right.
Yeah.
Give me that link after this interview.
I got you.
Sick. The bottom line is somebody might see some Basquiat and be like, I'm not into it. And that's when I started deep diving back into stuff that I used to stick my nose up to. Yeah. And I'm not going to say I'm ashamed of it. I'm going to say that was a chapter in my life that is closed. So now recently I went back to listening to old Young Thug and been like, damn, this guy's actually really insane. I love what he does. You know what I mean?
It's like the pockets he gets into with his flows are just so foreign, but almost alien. Like it's not even like rapping what he does. He's just like vocalizing, and it's so strange. But what he does is completely natural. You know. Harmonizing, and he surfs that beat. It's raw. He surfs that shit. Like, you know, now he don't skate on it. He don't ride on it. He surfs that shit. He sees the wave. You know what I mean? He feels the tide and he goes with it. And I love that. I think it's great. And I like I say, like, that was kind of my mentality when it came to that, and when it comes to a lot of things. If somebody's showing me something, and say you send me a track, I'll be honest. I'll be like, I haven't heard this, but that's dope.
You know what I mean? Because if you're telling me in 4 minutes and 30 seconds of a song, you can't find, especially as a producer, you can't find a 16-second clip that you don't fuck with heavy, you must be a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be at least, on some sample shit, there's got to be at least 10 seconds of the motherfucker that's dope. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's all you need. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's going to, and it might be like, all right, so how many dimensions are you looking at the song from? Not just the rhymes. What's the feeling? What's the motivation? What is the colors that you see? Like, what the fuck do you actually see going on? Henceforth, why I can't listen to the same genre of music for more than 15 minutes at a time. Because I need to feel all these different emotions and I want to ride these motherfuckers out. I want to hear what's going on. Today, I was listening to Project Pat, Bun B, Master P, and then listening to Fiona Apple.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like Jewel and Alanis Morissette. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. That's how you feel it out. And that's how you have the amalgamation of different sounds to get you to where you want to go, in my humble opinion.
Nice. So, with like a quick YouTube search of your name, like what comes up first is all your music videos. I'm just interested in like, what's the process of you making the music videos? Like you bring in directors, do you give them like a treatment and an outline of what you want for your song? Or it just starts with a conversation and you go from there?
First of all, let me shout out to two of my homies who've been involved in the visuals. First of all, shout out to my boy Pete Earl. He's a fucking sick filmmaker. And shout out to my boy Callum as well. He's also a sick filmmaker. And if you find, the thing you'll find with both of those videos is these people are so, the thing I love about working with them is they believe in my vision so much that they let me just kind of tell the narrative and then they rock with it, right? Yeah. So first video I did was, and again, it's all about narrative and story. So the first video I did was Neighborhood. Was it Neighborhood? No, that's a lie. Unwarranted Interruptions.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all true. Like, I wrote that song. My homeboy says, bro, I didn't know you really rap like that. And I was just like, you know me. Whatever, dude. Like, this is what I do. It's fun. And I had a premium SoundCloud for a second, and I saw that my homie who's a filmmaker listened to it over and over and over, and he could see
that's gnarly, yeah.
So I hit him up. It's like, bro, not to be a creep, but I see that you're fucking on my shit heavy. Like, I love what you do visually, what you saying, right? And he's just like, bro, like, let's do this shit. So I got off of work, and I shot that video behind my store after work.
Shit.
But he asked me to storyboard it, so I had to draw that shit frame for frame. So I drew all the shots frame for frame, and my homeboy was able to not only put some sauce on it, but to give me suggestions to say this will work or this wouldn't work. Every single one of my videos, I was directly involved in the narrative of said video, henceforth why there's continuity between the videos.
I see. Because the video for, is it Unwarranted Interruptions, ends with like, to be continued?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So, again, still in the process. That was supposed to be continued, but my man Pete, I'm so glad, I'm so proud of him. He ended up having his own thing going on, so he had to shoot all around. We were going to do a 4 or 5 part series of that video.
Dope, that would have been crazy.
So we were going to do a 4 or 5 part. The initial conversation was we were going to have like 4 or 5 videos, you know, within the thing, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to perform live. I just wanted to keep on putting videos out over and over and over again for all my tracks. So then I ran into this really dope dude named Callum. Shout out to Callum, Blueboard Productions. And I ran into him randomly. I hit him up because somebody suggested him to me. And then I happened to be at the social in Southampton with my board. And his homie was just like, yo, man, sick grip tape on your board, right? And he looks over at me. He's like, did you ask me to make a music video for you? I was like, I don't know, dude. Maybe, perhaps. And he's like, and we started talking, started chopping it up. And he's like, yo, I like where you coming from. I said, bro, I like where you coming from. He's like, you trying to shoot? I'm like, let's fucking go. I got a track ready right now. And Neighborhood is old. Neighborhood was like 3 years old.
For real? Like, as in you've just been sitting on the track for 3 years before you dropped it, or?
It was just sitting on my computer, like how I do.
Damn.
Like, I be sitting on shit, cuz I got shit on lock. Like if it comes down to it, I could literally drop 35 tracks. Like, I could just boom, because I do it for fun. So I was like, I got this track called Neighborhood that I really like. You know what I mean? We shot that one. I hit the homies at shout out to Heartbreakers.
Yeah, dope. I was just saying, like, a dope venue for like artists on the come up. I remember seeing like two of my friends. I'll give them a shout out, like Joe Wood and Telemark. Telemark is Max Berg. Like, both of them.
Joe Wood.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Wood. We go on Friday. But I remember, like, before I was really getting into like the music scene around Southampton and stuff, the Heartbreakers had booked them both for like a show, and I was just crazy to see two of my friends like on the stage, like so early on in their careers. And it's good to have venues in the city which are like providing those opportunities.
Yeah, man. First of all, shout out to Joe Wood. He is a beast. And I cannot wait.
Facts.
I'm gonna say this on here. Joe Wood, we doing a collaboration. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Thank you.
I need that.
But yeah, man. So I hit Heartbreakers up and they was like, cool, come through. They said, if you wanted Defcon, just come through, baby. Like, I was sick. I love y'all. Thank you. Came through. They gave me the stage, got to shoot it up there. Even the sound engineer, my homeboy, came up there. He was hooking it up and had a little team. We shot it real quick, did a couple one takes, and we did. And we kind of went, some of the stuff was by the script, and it all comes down to that 90s anti-hero noir aesthetic. It needs to be, you're not going to catch me doing a fire in the booth. You're not going to catch, I could, trust me, I could, but that's not my style. Like, I want it to be, I love that mystery and that veil and that nuance. It needs to be at least semi-theatrical. It needs to be to a point where I'm giving an experience. And it needs to be a little bit emotional when it happens, a little gothic. And that's where Neighborhood came from. It was kind of that idea. And if you see, it's kind of funny. If you think about it, and I was like, oh, maybe my third eye was open. Neighborhood got a plague mask in there. You know what I'm saying? Pre-COVID. You know what I mean? What's it going to say? Tarred and feathered. I'm wearing a mask in that one. Pre-COVID, the ambulance going. Hey, maybe your boy's third eye was open. I don't know. I can't call it. You know what I mean?
Predicting the future off the top.
I very much love a dystopian theme. I like it to be a little bit apocalyptic. It needs to be semi-apocalyptic. And the truth of the matter is, my G, it's not even convoluted. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to do this for image. Like, nah, man, this is how I feel. I feel like this is the way that I kind of want to give this narrative and this side of things, and let y'all know, don't sleep too much, don't get too comfortable.
Nice. Yo, Defcon, it has been insane talking to you. Like, it's been great. We've like dipped down into like your story, your origins, all the different like disparate like genres of music, like artists that have inspired you, and like really gotten to know like what drives you, and like you've dropped a lot of wisdom on us, like, thank you for joining us on it. Like, it's been great. Just to end the interview, is there like anything you want people to know? Like, what should they check from you? And do you have any shout outs to give? Like, what should they be looking out for? And which songs should they go check out? Or music videos?
First of all, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
That.
Thanks for coming on, man.
It means a lot. It means a lot for real. Like, I don't want you guys, I really love what y'all doing already. Definitely do yourself a favor. Check out some of the homies around here. Check out my brothers, Shankai Flames. Check out Ace Caden. Check out my boy Forbes, AK, Mono Key, TK. All Southampton zone. Shout out to the homies Band of Skulls for really put me on that tour.
Local Southampton band, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Before we end the interview, could you like tell us what it was like touring with them?
Oh, they're incredible. Incredible, man. Like, amazing people, amazing people, great experience.
How did the fans react to you?
Oh, dude, that was fly, because it was very punk, because I'm a hip hop act at a rock and roll show. and Southampton turned up, and London was great, man. I mean, London was the one. Like that was my top 2 favorite performances of all time. Was my first gig in Southampton and my first gig in London. That shit I'll never forget. So shout out to Band of Skulls 1,000,000,000% for real. Vanilla Record Store. And if you want to check out any of my stuff, just type in Defcon Lawless on anything. You could check out Tarred and Feathered by Blueboard Productions, Neighborhood, Season Pro, and then check out Unwarranted Interruptions as well. That's Unwarranted Interruptions, right? Yeah. And then, just keep your eyes open because I got some fly shit coming. Trust me.
Nice. Take a seat, no admittance fee. Defcon rock the microphone so viciously. I never think before I speak, and most shit I say is most likely tongue-in-cheek. No TV, I'm allergic to the media. My news is an L in the Marvel Encyclopedia. Put vinyl to 45 so I can speed it up and dance all night in the sugar high from too many Reese's cups.